You are born in 1000 CE, in a village near a riverbank. The houses lean against each other like old friends, with smoke curling from chimneys in the early light, carrying the smell of baking bread and wet earth. Now you turn 3 years old, and you watch your mother baking a bread at home for you. From the moment you were born, you have always seen your mother bake breads for you with warmth and love. You have gotten accustomed to this fresh smell. You watch chickens scratch through the dirt, goats bleat near pens, and the river hums quietly as it passes from your little backyard. The paths of these villages are familiar to you, worn smooth by generations of villagers, walking the same routes you now run along barefoot. Every morning is the same gentle rhythm. The sun rises, people begin chores, animals stir, and you follow the day. Your days are small, filled with errands and chores that you perform without thought. You fetch water, sweep floors, feed animals, and help your mother prepare meals. In the fields, the grass brushes against your skin as you chase chickens or play with other children. You fall and scrape your knees. You laugh at simple things. You cry when you are hurt. Every moment feels ordinary, yet complete. At night, you lie beneath a woven blanket, listening to the crackle of firewood and the distant croak of frogs. You believe the world is gentle, safe, permanent, and that belief forms the core of who you are. But permanence is fragile. You cannot know that tomorrow everything will shatter. You do not yet understand that the very ground you play on will soon vanish beneath your feet. As you turn 5 years old, you find yourself helping your mother with home chores. Not only this, but you can even carry water buckets, bring vegetables home, and you enjoy doing these little chores. Now, your elders trust you with more responsibility, carrying buckets of water, helping plow small fields, mending fences. Praise becomes currency, and you feel pride when villagers rely on you. For a time, you feel important, seen, and needed. But as you turn 7, you begin to notice subtle unease begins to creep among your adults. You watch them exchanging wary glances when they think you are not watching. You see their conversations stop when you enter a room. You notice strangers moving along the horizon. Ships appear on distant waters, their sails catching the sun. Men who do not belong in your village. A knot of fear tightens in your stomach, though no one speaks of it. You try to ask questions, but adults fall silent. Their silence is loud, and it presses against your chest with invisible hands. You have learned that sometimes the absence of warning is itself a warning. Something is approaching something that will take more than your strength or wits to withstand. And then, all of a sudden, you wake up one morning. It begins like any other. You carry water from the river, humming a song learned from your mother. The sun glimmers across the rippling surface. The village seems untouched. Then they come, not in a storm, not in chaos, but in deliberate, unyielding formation. Their footsteps do not falter. Their hands do not tremble. They move through the village with an efficiency that terrifies more than violence ever could. A strong hand grabs you, twisting your arm painfully. You cry out. You look for your family. They are either frozen or unable to intervene. Your mother's eyes meet yours only briefly, before the strangers pull you away. You try to run away, but the grip is very strong. You could not let go. Moments later, you realize that you have been captured. You watch yourself being taken away from your home. The men are dragging you away, and in that moment, the sight of your house slowly starts fading, and you are just thinking, home will no longer exist in any form you recognize. You are 11 right now. And what just happened to you? You did not imagine this to happen even in your wildest dreams. Now they have taken you away from your home at a seashore, where you see you are herded with children and teenagers alike. Some scream, some freeze, some shuffle silently, eyes hollow with shock. And you, among them, stand there confused, scared, and hopeless. The journey is long. Your feet blister, your muscles ache. Hunger gnaws relentlessly. Water is scarce. The language around you is incomprehensible, guttural, harsh. You don't recognize these people. You are terrified of them. You, along with other children, are taken away into an unfamiliar area, and any hesitation with these people is met with a strike or a shove. You realize that you dozed off while you were being taken away, and suddenly the truck stops, in which they hoarded you and the other children. One of the men of the crew gets you off the truck. And now you are being told to walk towards a secluded forest. As you walk into the forest, you notice that you have come miles away from your home. The men with armor and swords walking along with you tells you and the other children to stop and stand still with your hands tied at the back. You try to memorize the landscape, imagining escape. The hills, the river bends, the shape of trees. But you know, deep down, that these memories may never guide you home. And amidst all of this chaos, you have turned 12. Here, the place you got to live is a fragile hut, clinging together with mud and scrap metal, where the walls breathe dust and the roof rattles with every gust of wind. The village you loved disappears behind the hills, and with it, any notion of safety. You find fields stretching wide, buildings sturdy and weathered, animals grazing lazily. Smoke rises gently from hearths. The place looks almost peaceful. This is deception. The holding is cruel, but in quiet and controlled ways. Your sleeping corner is a narrow patch of packed earth, covered with straw that scratches your skin, dark, cold, and confined. Instructions are minimal, but precise. Where to work, when to wake, what tasks are expected. Punishment is swift and measured. Mistakes are corrected efficiently. You realize quickly that the holding is designed not for chaos, but for extraction. You are now told to start your labor, hauling water, clearing fields, tending animals. Every task teaches endurance. Every misstep brings pain. You start to understand the permanence of your captivity. This is not temporary. This is your new reality. You are expected to know and do every possible chore you are instructed to, or else the punishment will be a strike on the face or lash on the back. You shiver at the thought of this inhumane behavior. You are curled up in the corner of your hut, sobbing and praying for a miracle to happen. You overhear a few men and a lady talking outside of your hut. Then suddenly a man barges in and tells you to go out in the field to look after the animals. You have never done this sort of labor before. And at this very moment, you want to run away, but fate holds you back. As you go out in the field, you see other children arriving over time. Some are terrified, some defiant, some already broken. You watch them quietly at first. There is a boy, a little older than you, stoic and silent. A girl with tangled hair too young to understand, yet old enough to cry. A smaller child, huddling near animals for comfort. You observe how they work, how they falter, how they respond to punishment. Some are beaten for the smallest mistakes. Some learn quickly to anticipate the overseer's moods. You feel a mix of empathy and dread for them. Empathy for their suffering. Dread because you know the same fate is yours. Gradually, you begin to interact, sharing whispers while grinding grain, small smiles while fetching water. You form bonds with 2 or 3 children while looking after the animal. And in the blink of an eye, this becomes your new normal. Those children you see, you try to talk to them to make this hell of a place a little bearable. While working, you exchange words with them. They tell their stories. You tell yours. How you were taken. What you remember. What you hope for. For the first time since capture, a spark of relief warms your chest. You are not entirely alone. Companionship, fragile and quiet, exists. You allow yourself hope, but hope is fragile, and danger lurks in bonds. Days are passing by like this, and you have turned 14 now. One morning, you wake to not find your friends, your fellows in the field. The children you had bonded with are gone. No trace, save the abandoned tools and scattered straw. Panic twists in your stomach. The only hope and light you had in this prison is gone too now. You wonder where they might be. Then suddenly, a lady in charge approaches you. Her gaze is sharp and cold. She explains, her tone measured, that friendships are forbidden. Attachment reduces efficiency. She has moved the children elsewhere. You feel a grief so sharp it leaves your body numb. The relief you had felt, the comfort of shared stories and quiet laughter, all stolen. You are alone again. You realize even small joys are controlled here. Even hope is a threat. Days passes by. Time stretches. Seasons change relentlessly. Winter brings frost that gnaws at your bones, and summer burns your skin in the open fields. You find yourself getting accustomed to this life. Each passing day, you wonder what your parents might be doing back home. Although your body is occupied with tiring labor, but your mind still replays memories and look for possibility of you escaping this hellhole. But in reality, you know that this is your life, tour reality, and your fate now. You have turned 16 now. Labor varies, but never eases. You plow fields meant for men twice your size. Grind grain until your wrists are numb. Haul hay and water. Tend animals that bite and kick without mercy. Blisters crack. Fingers bleed. Spine aches. Festivals come and go. Smoke rises from fires and you watch from the margins. Uninvited. Unseen. Laughter. Warmth. Joy. Reminders of what you no longer possess. Hunger is constant here, but the food is minimal. Thin porridge, coarse bread, scraps of meat. Sleep is shallow, cold biting through the straw. Your body is adapting, but you feel like you are the same anymore. Pain, torture, violence. Trivial things have become your normal now. You notice your hands and face getting pale, and you notice that your hands have started to shiver at all times. Hunger, routine, fatigue, constant. Survival is no longer victory. Endurance alone defines your existence. Now you have turned 18 and you have learned that they not only exploit you, but for their own entertainment, humiliates YPU and the other children by giving severe punishments in front of everyone. You see it happen to another captive first. Someone slows down. Someone drops a tool. Someone speaks when they should not. They are pulled forward, positioned where everyone can see. No one intervenes. No one looks away. You are forced to watch because watching is part of the lesson. Fear spreads faster this way. One person's pain becomes everyone's restraint. You learn not only from your own suffering, but from the suffering displayed before you. Over time, this changes how you see others. You do not rush to help when someone stumbles. You do not make eye contact when someone is punished. Compassion becomes dangerous and a liability. And the most unsettling realization comes quietly. You are not cruel for looking away. You are surviving. Now that winter is approaching, you feel it before anyone says a word. The air changes first. It grows sharper, heavier, as if it presses against your chest when you breathe. Mornings arrive colder than the last, and each time you wake, your body feels slower, stiffer, like it never truly warmed from the night before. The straw beneath you offers no comfort anymore. It scratches your body, it shifts, it traps the cold instead of blocking it. You pull your clothing tighter around yourself, though it barely helps. The fabric is thin, worn from years of use, never meant to keep a body warm. Your fingers ache before the work even begins. By the time you are handed tools, they already feel numb. No one explains what changes in winter. There are no instructions. Hygiene is not a concern here. The water is cold, limited, used only when necessary. Dirt clings to you. Sweat dries on your skin. The smell of labor never leaves. Over time, you stop noticing it. It becomes part of you, another thing stripped of meaning. At night, exhaustion presses down so heavily that sleep comes instantly. Dreams are rare now. When they do appear, they are fragmented flashes of warmth, laughter, hands you can't quite remember. And then, one night, something changes. You realize you have not thought about home in days, not actively, not with longing. The memory still exists, but it feels distant, blurred at the edges, like a story told to you long ago. The ache that once lived in your chest has dulled into something quieter, not acceptance, but resignation. By the age of 20, you have understood commands are shouted at you in a language you still do not understand. The sounds are harsh and quick, and you are expected to move instantly. The direction someone points. You learn to move before thinking, to respond to tone rather than meaning. Speech feels distant and unnecessary. When you think, your thoughts are shorter now. Not sentences, fragments, images, instructions to yourself. Lift, carry, don't slow down. Even when other captives whisper to you, the words feel thin, fragile. Conversations fade quickly, cut off by fear or fatigue. Language breaks down into gestures and glances. And one night, lying awake in the heat, you try to remember the sound of your own voice. You can't. Not clearly. The girl who spoke freely, who laughed, who called out to family she feels like someone you once knew, not someone you still are. Winter returns again, and then summer after that. Time does not heal here. It only measures how long you can keep going before your body or your mind finally gives out. And somewhere between the cold that numbs you and the heat that drains you, you understand the truth. This place is not trying to kill you. It is trying to make you last just long enough to be useful. Now you are not angry anymore. It's lasted for months at first. You replay the moment of capture. Imagine escape. Imagine revenge. But soon you realize your anger has faded. Vigilance has replaced it. Then resignation. Hollow acceptance. You no longer desire of things you used to desire. You no longer dream of freedom. You want only to avoid punishment. To sleep without dreams. To eat quietly. Loneliness gnaws. Isolation presses. Adaptation saves you but erases part of your identity. You are here, but not fully present. Surviving, not living. Even your mind becomes a tool of captivity. As you enter your mid-20s, you notice that your body has begun to fail. Wrists are stiff from grinding grain. Hands are scarred and blistered. Joints ache. Breath shortens. Injuries linger. Still, labor continues. Water must be carried. Fields plowed, animals fed. No one spares weakness. Collapse approaches, inevitable and slow. And now you are 25. You watch your health deteriorating from years of labor and poor diets. Buckets slip from your hands, knees buckle, fingers fail to lift tools. Breathing is labor itself, but you realize that you have turned only 25 now. Punishment still comes. Work continues. The world moves on. Indifferent. Your muscles have started to lose their strength. You notice your bones ache. At last, endurance is all that remains. One morning, your eyes open up, but you feel you can't move your body from the bed. Suddenly, your vision starts blurring. You feel your body shutting down, and in that moment, your whole life flashes in front of your eyes. Who you were and what you became. You collapse quietly. Life pauses only briefly. You are replaced, forgotten. Death comes without ceremony. The world does not stop, and neither does it notice. You were a girl who believed in gentleness. You were wrong, not foolishly, but because no one warned you. Your life was endurance, survival, adaptation. Pain measured in labor, hunger, isolation. Your story does not end because it is rare. It ends because it was common. Across generations, this kind of captivity was treated as tradition, a system justified by survival, by strength. Lives were measured by usefulness. Human beings were reduced to labor, silence, and endurance. Suffering was normalized because it sustained someone else's way of life. You wanted to end this. You did not want this inhumane treatment to continue, but life took you before you could make a change. Behind every system like this were people like you, children taken too young, lives bent slowly under years of exhaustion, voices erased not by a single blow, but by time itself. Their pain was not accidental. It was built into the structure. And remembering that matters. Because history is not only about what was done, it is about who it was done to.